Is Michelle Tutrissa, and I'm an independent demonstrator in New South Wales, Australia. I'd like to say, first off, welcome to everybody who's here with me today. And if you're new, please give permission to StreamYard, for your name to be shown on Facebook or YouTube. Please say hello and let me know that where you're from, if you're first time visiting, and also just jump on and say hello so I can know that my comments are actually working. Now, if I do miss comments today, because I believe that at the moment I may not be picking up the comments from Keep On Stamping with Michelle, so I do apologise for that. Deborah, hi, how are you? Jindira, where's that? Must be one of those little towns somewhere. Just let me know where you're from, like where that's close to. I do know some of the country areas. I am a country girl myself. I come from the Riverina. So, yeah. But I'm here in Mossvale, where it's outside. The sun's trying to poke through all those clouds near Albury and Wodonga. Okay, I know that area. Yeah, lovely. It was great to see you joining us today. Anyway, let's get started. I'm going to flip my camera down and so you can see what I have on my desk and what we're going to have a play with today. Oh, what I was going to say, if I don't see comments, I will get back to you. So, hi, Ms. Worry. It's great to have you with us. Thank you for joining. Okay, let me just pop my desk view up. Okay, then there we go. Okay, I do apologise if let me just move that camera. The light is shining on that. I'll bring it back in a little bit. If my camera keeps going in and out a little bit, it's not tracking as well. It could be because of the fact it's an older camera that I'm using. So I do apologise for that. Okay, now I thought today we'd play with the Happiest of Hippos. And that you will find in the celebration catalogue. So our celebration catalogue is going for 2 months. That is going from the 1st of July to the 31st of August. If you don't have a copy of any of the catalogues, please let me know and I can drop them into the mail for you. So this is on page 4 and 5. You can earn these particular products for free when you spend $90. So you've got the Happiest of Hippos stamp set, so spend $90 and you can choose that one for free. Spend another $90 and you can also get the dies that go with it. And there's a lot of dies and they're little dies. I've actually pre-cut a lot of the dies I'm going to be using today just for the fact that I thought it might just take up too much time and I thought I'd save a little bit of time, but there's quite a few. So you have 3 hippos here in the stamp set and you've got dies to cut out each one of those. Then you have like a pot or like a bathtub, you have a boat. That piece is the propeller. I was wondering what that bit was for. You have snorkels and glasses and goggles and hearts and flowers and water and an umbrella. So there's quite a bit in here that you can create with. And I thought this is just such a fun set that I would do something with this today. And I don't normally sort of do a lot of fun little bits and pieces like this. So I just thought, hey, why not? Let's give it a go. So let me pop that to one side. So there's our stamp set. And as I've said, it comes, you can purchase or get for free the dies. I keep my dies in the bag that the dies come in. I pop, when you get your dies, you get it into a little plastic, I don't have it handy, comes in a little plastic sleeve, and I remove everything from it, and then I slip this in with my stamps just on the inside there. And the plastic bag that is encasing all the dies, I keep that, and then I just pop the dies into there until I get a magnetic sheet, which I adhere into the inside of my case, and they just stay nice and safe there. And that just means that when I'm storing these, I'm storing them together. So when I grab my Happiest Hippos off my stamp shelf, I've got everything in there with it. Hi, Kay. How are you? I'm glad you're able to join us today. Okay, then. So the other product we're going to be using is one of the masks in your annual catalogue. It's one of the new ones that have come out this year, so there is a bit of light glaring on that. And we're going to do a little bit of blending and creating a mask background as well. Now I'm just going to very quickly go through our the bits and pieces we'll be using. So I've got to get my names right here, my Parakeet Party card base here, and I've cut this at 10.5 by 29.9, and I've scored it at 14.9. Okay, I've already folded that. So that's my card base. I'm just going to bring that camera back on now that I may have lost some of that glare. I'll get rid of that. That's going to glare a little bit there. We'll just... Sorry, I just need a little bit of light, but I just need to get that glare off there. I don't want to put too much glare in your eyes. Okay, so that's our card base. Then I've got a little piece of designer series paper, and this is from the Perfectly Penciled, and I've cut this at 10 by 12 centimetres. I've got a piece of basic white at 8.5 by 14 centimetres. I've got another piece of basic white which is going to go onto the inside of our card, and I might have to flip that over and use the other side. It's a little bit marked. I'm just going to turn that over now so I remember. And that's going to be our insert for our card, and that's 10 by 14.4. And I have a little piece of designer series paper left over when I cut my piece out, and that's 2 centimetres by 10 centimetres. And I'm just going to trim the bottom of my card insert with that. And then I have got a scrap piece which measures roughly 7 by 8 centimetres, and that's what we're going to stamp our hippo on. So we're going to start with that. I'm going to pop this to one side, and I'll bring those back in at the moment, a bit later on. We're going to use some blends here to colour in our hippo. So this is the one I was playing with earlier today, just to give me a bit of an idea. And I have used the colours for him. I have used, let me see if I can get my colours right. I've got Smoky Slate here, both in my dark and my light. Remember, when you purchase your blends, you can purchase them all in pairs. I have got a little bit of polished pink, which I'm going to only use a little bit of that of. Probably only need the dark or maybe just the light one of that. I've got the light in the, I've got the dark in the petal pink, which is going to give our hippo some cheeks. I've got I've got the light in the Seaside Spray for his eyes. So there's quite a few colours in this, even though he's quite small. And then his face and his belly, I'm going to use light crumb cake. So that's the colours we're using there. So first off, we need to stamp our hippo image. So I've got our hippo here, and because we're using blends, we need to use our Memento ink. So remember, Memento ink is a water-based ink, and we're going to be using, because we're using blends, we need to use our opposite. So the blends are alcohol, so the stamp pad we need to stamp our image in is water-based. So let's just pop that there. I'm going to stamp that hippo right there. And he's a very happy looking hippo. He, she. I'll have to start calling it a she because I think it is going to be a she. Okay, so what we're going to start with is I'm going to colour in his belly and his face. So I'm using the crumb cake. I'm going to be using a little bit of that petal pink and the pink, the polished pink for her mouth. So let's just start with this. I'm going to start with using the lightest colour because I like to lay my lightest colour down first. And we're going to saturate the area. So always make sure you've got a piece of scratch paper underneath your work. And that way, if this bleeds through, which it does do, if you look at this one I've done, It hasn't bled through a lot, but it does bleed through, and you need it to really saturate, and that's so then when you use the darker color, you can blend them all together. So we're going to start with his tummy area here, and I'm going to, in a circular motion, lay down my lightest color. So I'm just working around in a circle. I'm trying to put down quite a bit of ink on there, because as I said, we want to saturate that area, and that is so then we can blend this really well. So I'm just going over it quite a bit, and you can always check by just flipping this over and having a look, and that's getting quite saturated there. So that is probably enough, and you don't really want to work on an area any bigger than the area I'm working on at the moment. Now these pens have a fine tip and a broad tip. I'm actually just using the fine tip here, and I'm just doing a flicking motion and just giving a bit of shading to that hippo's body. I'm not taking that dark color all the way across. I'm just putting a bit of shade on one side, and then I'm going to come back in with my light color again and go over the top again, just flicking that color out, and that will help to blend those colors together. Okay, so once that lightens up a little bit, or dries a little bit, that will all look nice and blended to well. So now we're going to do his front of his face, and the only part on his face I'm not going to color is his mouth. And again, I'm just going over this in a circular type motion, just going around and saturating that area. Now, if you have any questions, please just post them and I will try to get to them. If I don't see them now, I will have a look at them later on. And again, because I'm keeping my shading to this side of his body, I'm just going to shade around this side of his face, just taking a little bit of that dark color around. I have gone out of my lines there a little bit. I'm not going to be too worried about that, because I am going to work with the grey for the rest of his body, and that will sort of work in. What happens with the alcohol blends is it actually pushes one colour, will push another colour away. So, and that's also how the colour lifter works, which is where you can go outside of your lines and you can try to fix up those areas by using the colour lifter, which will push the colour back in to where, or back away from where you've gone outside your line. Don't know whether I can see my colour lifter here handy. There's that, it's there. Yep, I'll just show you what I mean. So if I use, say, this colour here, I'm just going to colour in a section here. It's a dark area. When you go outside your lines, your colour lifter will push the colour away. So if I go over the top of this a few times, it's becoming lighter, and that is, I'll just lift that up so you can actually closer to the camera so you can see. And what it's doing is it's actually pushing all that colour away from where I've drawn that line in the middle. So if you go outside your area, if you use your colour lifter and go around it, it will push that colour away from where you've gone outside your lines. Now, let me just go over this before it dries too much, because I do want to blend that darker area back in. Now I'm going to put some cheeks on my little hippo, and a lighter colour will work the similar sort of way as your colour lifter. So by me putting a little bit of that lighter colour there, it's actually pushing some of that other colour underneath away, and it's only just showing where I've put that pink. So where I've put that little bit of pink there on his cheeks, it's actually pushing any other colour there away. Now I can go back over it because I do want to soften these areas around here, And this is the lighter of the two, I hope. I'll just double check. Yes, it is my light. I have been known to pick up, thinking I've got my light, and I've picked it up and I've got my dark. So I just want to soften some of those areas around his cheeks or her cheeks. I'm going to colour in her mouth, in a little bit of pink in the mouth there. She looks like she's got a bit of lippy on now. And now I'm going to grab the greys for the body. So again, I'm just going to start off with my lightest colour. And whoops, I want the fine tip. I love working with my fine tip because then I can get into smaller areas. Make sure you put your lids on properly so these don't dry out when you're using them. Again, just going around in a circular motion. Saturating that area. Grab my darker one. I'm going to add shading again. And I'm just really, this time, not really flicking so much because I just don't want to have too much shading. I just want a little bit of shading around her face. And just across the top of her nose there. And again, coming back in with my light one over the top just to blend those colours in. And I'm just going to grab the polished pink and just put a little bit of pink into those ears there. We want her to look cute. Okay, now for the rest of her body. So again, just going around, making sure I've got my light one. Going in a circular motion. I'm not worrying about colouring in her toenails. Make sure I get that tail. So I hope you all are having a lovely day today. As I said, weather here has been quite cool. It's been raining for the last few days. You'd think we'd have enough rain by now. Again, I'm coming with my dark colour, just adding a little bit of colour here. Colour on the back underneath the arm there. A little bit underneath the neck. And blending it out again with my lighter one. Now these are just smaller areas. I'm not really worrying too much about laying too much colour down there because it's only quite small. But again, we do need to add a little bit of shading. So just a little bit there, there, and a little bit there. And again, coming in and just blending that out. And I just want to blend that out a little bit more there too. And blend that one. There you go. Oh, one more thing. I've got some balmy, light seaside spray, and I was going to put a little bit of blue in her eyes. So let's just very quickly colour her in, and then I'm going to use the die to cut that out. So let me just grab my mini cut and emboss machine. I think I use this one now a lot more than I use my big one, just for the fact that it's handy. And the dies now that Stampin' Up have are so, there's so many of them that cut out such smaller images, for we don't really need that bigger one all the time, which has been good. So I'm just going to slip that on there, making sure I've got that all lined up. You could put a little bit of washi tape or something over the top of it. Just going to pop the plate on, top plate on the top. I think I'm going to need new plates soon. This one cracked earlier today, so cut that out. Hi, Joan. How are you? Thanks for joining today. It's really good seeing so many people from YouTube. I don't usually get many people watching live on YouTube, so it's actually really great. I'm really pleased that you're able to join us. So once we've cut her out, there we go. She's so cute. So I'm just going to pop that to one side up there and just let her dry out a little bit more. And we're going to bring in our card pieces again. And this time we're going to take this piece here and we're going to do some masking. So we don't need that. And I've got this little mask here and I'm going to be using the Parakeet Party. Now I'm just going to line this up on my grid paper because I do want to line this up here. I'm not going to cover the whole area of that cardstock with color. I'm just going to have a small section. So I'll do it and then I'll show you what I mean. I just want this to be a little bit of a highlight behind our hippo. So I'm going to start off and I'm going to place our hippo probably in an area probably about there. Okay, so I'm really only sort of wanting to cover an area in just a little bit bigger than her. So I'm just going to take off a little bit of that excess ink off my blending brush, and then I'm just going to come on here and I'm just going in a circular motion. I'm not going all the way to my edges because, as I said, I don't necessarily want to take this all the way to my edges, but I do want some lighter areas. So I want it darker here in the middle and then lighter here around the edges there. So let's have a look and see what we've got. And I'm actually quite happy with that. So I just wanted that smaller area there. I don't want to cover the whole lot, but I just want it having a stronger color here. So when we put our hippo on here, then it's going to be blending out. So we're going to have a little bit of darkness behind her to feature her, and then we'll blend out. So I'll pop that to one side so I can clean that off later on, and my brush later on as well. Remember, the blending brushes, you can get them in packs of 3 in our annual catalogue. Now, I thought what one might do is just stamp my sentiment, and I've chosen a very simple sentiment, and it is "Love You a Ton." Because I just thought this is just a really cute card. We just need a really cute sentiment, and I'm just going to pop it just about there. So I hope you can see that, and I'm just also stamping that in the memento. So let me just bring that up so you can see, because fortunately I can't, with my camera, I can't focus it right in. So hope you can see what I've done there so far. And as I said before, I have actually die cut everything. So I've got here, I've sort of gone a little bit crazy. I know I'm not going to use all of these. I've decided already that we're probably going to be using mainly the flowers and a few hearts. So I'm using all the new ink colors in this. So I've got these flower pieces here. I've got these leaves. So let me just sort out. So I've got those flowers. I've got 2 different sizes in the flowers there. In that particular flower, there's a small one, there's a big one. There's these little ones as well, which I thought, oh, we'll see what happens. See what might be easier. Get my fat fingers out of the road. Okay. So I want that flower. I want these hearts. There's another blue flower. There's another leaf. Red flower. There's another heart. Look how cute these things are. That's like a you know, when you want to swim underwater. Can't think now what it's called. That'll be right. Age is creeping up on me. Not quite sure whether we'll use the glasses, but we'll just keep those aside. There's those tiny weeny little flowers. So I'm just going to bring them up closer. There's another blue flower. All these little bits and pieces, I will pop them into a small bag and put them also in with my stamp set. So if ever I need anything, they're there. So at the moment, that's what I'm looking at using. Whether I come back in and use a umbrella or not, I don't know as yet, but I've got choices of umbrellas. So let me know if you think I should be using an umbrella. But we'll start off with those flowers. So I'll pop them to one side. I'm going to grab my card insert and pop a bit of this trim on the bottom. Now I'm just going to put a little bit of glue just on the inside there because I don't know yet whether I'm going to add anything to that or not, or tuck something behind it. So I've just put a little bit of glue on the back. I love my multi-purpose glue, so then it just can move and slide things about in place. So that's that piece, and that can go on the inside. Let's just move that one out of the road. That can go on the inside of my card base there. Okay, just give that a good rub down. Make sure that glue is nice and spread out on the inside of there. You don't want lumps of glue under something where you're trying to write. Now this piece here, I thought we might pop that just about there, and I'm going to have a slightly bigger gap at the bottom. Many years ago when I did show card and ticket writing, they taught us you always have a bigger piece strip at the bottom where you've got nothing on than you do at the top, because then it doesn't look like things are starting to fall off your page, and it's always hung with me. It's all to do with keeping things into proportion. So if you stamp anything right on the very edge, or you put flowers or whatever at the very edge, it can sometimes look like that it's falling off. Yeah, would you like I'll remove that banner for you, because yeah, it can be a little bit annoying, that, can't it? How about that? Is that better? We go back to our comments. There you go. Just let me know if I'm getting too close to me, because I do have a tendency, because I'm sort of working more into the middle of my table. I can't bring my camera further towards me. And plus, you don't want to see my stomach sticking out. So now that piece there, I'm going to glue onto like so. So let's pop some glue on the back there, and then we can start layering all our bits and pieces. Yeah, it took me a little while to work out on what part of my table I have to work on so everything ends up in screen. All my first videos I ever did quite a few years back, everything was either off screen all the time. So it's sort of like I've got to remember I've got to work in the middle of this piece up towards here. Okay. So I just wanted just a little bit of that black and white stripe coming out on one side and a little bit more on the other. And then we're going to grab our hippo and pop her there. Might actually use the first one I did, because I think she's a little bit coloured a little bit lighter. Oh, they're not too bad. That one looks like it's got a dirty face. Let's have this one. She's got a cleaner face. So I'm going to use some dimensionals to place her on there, because I want to put some of, and I'm just looking for my dimensionals now that are slightly bigger. That's the ones I want to use. New pack. Going to pop a couple of dimensionals behind her. I'm not putting them too close to the outside edge because I do want to slip a few things in underneath. So I'm going to pop her about there, and then we've got all of these. That's good, Deborah. I'm glad you can see now. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, so let's have a look what we can put. We need to put some grass. Now I might stick a few there underneath. Let me grab my tweezers. Pop a little bit of grass behind her, so I'll start with that. Piece there. I did actually cut some out in Pear Pizzazz as well, just sort of playing around with some colours. And I might add that as well, because it just adds a little bit of difference in colour and tone. Sorry, I'm just going to get my fingers into there. Just want to slip that in just about there. Might put a little mini dimensional on the back of this one. Pop that one about there and grab another Pear Pizzazz one and put another mini dimensional on that. Sometimes I find it's handy with having a pair of tweezers to pick up those mini dimensionals. Just overlap them a little bit like that one. Just wondering whether yeah, I think so. I'm going to put some flowers in here as well. Okay, now we definitely need some more colour. So let's have a look and see where we can put. Now I'm just laying these down for the moment because I just want to see. Pop those there. Oh, excuse me. Yep, I'm happy with those, and then we can add Add that one up the top there. Okay, so that gives us a bit of an idea of where we can pop some of these flowers. So I'm just going to take these and add some glue. Just need to put a very small amount just in that center there. And one more, which is this one here. Whoops. Okay. Now, do we need to add any hearts? Let's have a look. I don't know. What do you think? Do we need to add it in a heart or not? I think we could. Yeah, why not? Might just grab and take a pick tool and use this to pick up that little heart there. So that's, I think, is enough for that. Let me just have a look, see if I've got any bling, because we'll add a little bit if we can. And I know these aren't the in colours, but No, I think I might leave that off. Sometimes less is more, and I think I might leave that as that. So there's my card. Could add a little bit of, let's see if I can add a little bit of bling with my Winker Stella. Wasn't working the other day, so let's see if we've got, two bottles of it here. Not quite sure either of these are working. They're pretty old. Let's give this a go. Let's see if we can add. Let's see if that's worked a little bit. Yep, has got some on there. I have to get myself some more Winker Stella. Okay, so there we go. There's my cute card for today. And I've just got, I don't know whether you can see it, but just a little bit of Winker Stella on there. So there you go. So remember to get the stamp set and the dies for this. It's you need to spend $90 for each item. So if you wanted to get both the stamp set and the dies, you do need to spend $180, and you can get this particular stamp and dies for free. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Let me just take my camera back to me again. There we go. So I hope you've enjoyed my card today, and thank you so very much for joining me today. I hope you can join me again next week when we do another live and see what we make and what we create. So have a lovely week. As I said before, if you have any questions, please let me know and I will get back to you. And if you do need a copy of any of our catalogues and you don't already have a demonstrator, just send me a message on michelle@tutrissa.com. That's my email, and I will get one into the mail to you as soon as I can. So take care, have a lovely day, and I'll catch up with you next week. Bye for now. Bye.